Well, I'd argue with that slightly, and here we go. You worked at KPMG for a long time, and indeed set up their blockchain. I think it's called Center of Excellence. Is that correct?
Yes.
That must have been quite a difficult thing to get them to adopt blockchain in those years when there was doubt on the horizon.
It was brilliant. I loved it, to be honest with you, because the initiative was more or less felt like creating a startup inside KPMG. The challenge was big, and I mean justifiably so, because it still has been the early days of, let's say, the tangible adoption of the technology. So still like the crypto craze and hype and boom and all the bits and pieces which we saw with like some charlatans exploring this space. So it was quite tricky, and rightfully so. Intro. So start as a techie, like you said, with software development. This was like more than 20 years ago. Did quickly find out that this wasn't like my so I didn't find any inspiration by doing software development. So that's why I moved into more like hardware infrastructure stuff. And I did this for a couple of years. And that's when it was during university. I've joined my first consulting firm as a technologist there. And that's how my business and tech experience has started. So did span out 5-10 years doing hardcore tech. So mainly it was like bringing in tech to when it can solve out a problem or address a challenge or improve the business operations and performance of the company. For 5-6 years, it was more about central databases and standalone solutions back in the days. This was around the dot-com boom as well. So yeah, it was quite a fun time. And then I have moved into much more enterprise solutions and more about this term, the digital transformation journey of enterprise. So I did 7, 8, 9 years.
I really relate to sort of having that initial start and then slowly finding what your passion is. That's a really great story.
Well, you need to try different things, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. You've always got to try everything.
Freelance carer, but still you need to be contract with this agency or that agency. Essentially, you're going in and delivering care into a care home for an individual. So we are talking about some things which needs to step on, and some contracts to happen. So we have a lot of prerequisites which we need to comply with. And at the end of the day, most of this happens manually, and it's still quite segregated, and it's causing a lot of issues to when it comes to to consent, to when it comes to haven't been pushed through the process. So basically, by the end of the day, someone could die whilst waiting for an approval somewhere, or someone to like sign off some documentation in order for this treatment to. I did not see the boom coming. I grew up with tech. I was lucky enough to almost like see in front of my eyes how information technology did develop in the past 40 years, right? We've seen this happening over and over again. When a new tech comes in, everyone kind of puts it into the emerging tech bucket. Everyone says this is scam, this is scary, this isn't useful at all. So they're like the classic stages which we go throughout, and at some point, everyone's getting a grasp and saying, "Hey, I mean, wait a minute. I mean, this would be valuable." So I knew that basically crypto and also the tech would get a big boom back then, but I didn't invest in it. It was a conscious decision. So I was kind of doing other things basically.
2.3 million members of the UK population are smarter than you and I. And it's a lot more, let's be honest. But 2.3 million members of the UK population hold crypto. And that's an incredible figure. And that's just those who have kind of done it publicly, so to speak. And do you think that entities like the NHS, who I know who funded blockchain research, Dovetail being one of the classic examples, do you think they will overcome legacy issues, and the blockchain will become a sort of back-end invisible infrastructure to a lot of what they do when it comes to data management, medical records management, and so forth?
Everyone will overcome legacy issues if they want to do so, right? I mean, you have rightly put the kind of more or less the biggest challenge, and not only in healthcare here in the UK, but more or less in the enterprise world or in the big enterprise world out there. We are talking about corporations which were being operational for 20, 30, 50, 100 years, right? So these companies did spend, some of them, quite a lot of money into different technology. So you can't just scrap $100 million worth of investments and saying, hey, I mean, let's start from scratch, right? This has been the main, I guess, socio-economic and conceptual challenge, and most probably that's why blockchain is all in the news, right? Because we are talking about essentially decentralization, which is quite of a crucial shift and challenge, because our society, I mean, we as human beings we were like living in a centralized model since the early days, right? There has always been somewhere in the middle. It's an engineering approach. So basically, that's how you follow each and every build. You do know this quite well as well, Simon.
Well, I'd argue with that slightly, and here we go, because it leads to my next question very nicely, because we all know that when you build software, and software developers are, very prone to this, they often forget to find a way to achieve consumer engagement, to achieve consumer take-up. And for us, blockchain, as you put very nicely, I love that Fight Club quote. I should be using it regularly and thinking of you. Blockchain sits in the background, and so it should, like ERP and SAP and whatever. But how do you get consumer engagement?
Again, like talking about blockchain being completely back-end technology, which no one should really know how things are done happening there. So this collaboration exercise. So
I can't resist putting in a bit of the conspiracy theory. I don't know if you read also why many people believe they did it. They believe they did it to give Wall Street an opportunity to be unregulated over the next months and buy the dip in Bitcoin, so that they can get in and capitalize on the recently reduced price of Bitcoin. But I mean, that's just rumor, who knows? But it's a fascinating world when it comes to what is happening. It's very much an evolving world.
I think, I mean, I have friends in the US, for example, who own crypto, right? So they are not like well aware of all the latest developments or all the latest articles or position of the SEC and everyone else, but they do know that by law, each and every year, they need to declare their holdings, and crypto is there too. And they have like simple buckets. If you're a professional trader or if you're just investing in it, big place there, big potential. But we need more and more ventures like Remy Life, which can start taking the technology into real life use cases where we could learn on the go whilst doing it, not with the blockchain flag, right? So we did have fun with one of my directors back in the days in KPMG that blockchain is like Fight Club. Rule number 1 is don't talk about blockchain. So indeed, if you want to use this tech, don't focus on the tech, but focus on what you do, how you do it, and where you want to take this.